They were pot cookies. And pot wasn't legal in California, but it was whatever state that he was in. But he brought them and they weren't marked or whatever. And so a number of people ate these cookies.
In early days, we were trying to go to different conferences just to get ideas and to meet people, perhaps starting new connections. And so Brandon, Jeff, and I, we traveled to San Francisco for Web 2.0 conference. And as it turned out, we ventured into Tenderloin area of San Francisco. And if you don't know, you might know that this is probably one of the most dangerous places in San Francisco. I don't know if it is right now, but it certainly was back then.
We were in Crack City, and because it's a very small, relatively small area, and it's like right in the middle, so it's pretty easy to cut through it accidentally.
It was night, and we were going through there, and myself, Jeff, and Brandon, and Jeff decided that he wanted to go back to the hotel. He didn't feel comfortable.
The three of us walked together, and maybe I started walking a little faster than those two guys.
Jeff did run into some trouble on the way back. He got either mugged or harassed by some people on the way back home.
I didn't get mugged. No. I was probably on the verge of getting mugged, but I was a little more fleet of foot than people around me.
There was one show that we always used to go to called the Kelsey Show, which was in the local media show. So it was newspapers, Yellow Pages, radio, TV. And that show it's a big show. And there would be, at this particular one, there was a yacht cruise. And then there was a bunch of people at a different sort of a party. So we got back off the yacht and it was free booze, but there was no food on it. And everyone was starving. And the rest of the people were at this sort of event that was going to start. And they had some food, some pre-food there. So people were looking for food. I never found any food, but Jeff found these cookies. Turns out that one of the vendors had these cookies, and they were pot cookies. And pot wasn't legal in California, but it was whatever state that he was in. But he brought them, and they weren't marked or whatever. And so a number of people ate these cookies, caused real problems where they they didn't know what happened to them. And so Jeff was one of those. He didn't know why. He was out. We were trying to have supper, have a few drinks, and he's like, I gotta go to my room. And then hilarity ensued, which I let Jeff tell that story.
Every company has some sort of a uniform. So Brandon wanted to have something that it's Vendasta, and I think he was watching the biker show at the time, which was popular, and then so we decided that we're going to create biker vests with logos on the back of the vest, leather jackets. So we did. I ordered a whole bunch of vests. We came up with logos, three-piece logo at the back, Vendasta, and then our values in Latin. But it totally looked like a motorcycle club vest. And instead of MC at the back, it has SC. And the difference was that it was, instead of motorcycle club, it was a software club. So we were wearing those jackets, and we went to Austin, Texas for South by Southwest conference. And we took those vests with us. And in Austin, they have those bikes that you can rent. But they were red bikes with nice baskets in the front for doing groceries. And then they looked like Pee Wee Herman, a little bit bicycles. So we all rented those. And we were biking through the downtown Austin on those bikes everywhere. And people were looking at us. What kind of motorcycle club is riding red bicycles with baskets on the front?
We were at a conference in Chicago. We went to a hockey game one night, and we had hailed a rickshaw, and a couple of us jumped in, and there's this tiny guy on a bike, and then at the last minute, just as he was getting going, like 4 more dudes jumped in the back of this rickshaw. There were hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pounds in this thing. And this guy was just sweating and heaving and huffing and puffing. And I thought he was going to have a heart attack. But I'm happy to say that we were able to arrive at our bar of destination at the time. And I don't believe that he carted. And he might have had a heart attack after he left, but he got us there in one piece.
I remember on being on the road with George Leaf, and we needed to get to the auto show in New Orleans, and we were coming from Atlanta. And the folks that we wanted to see were from Atlanta, but they were at the show in New Orleans. So we were going to fly there the next day, but we had to fly through Houston. And when we got to Houston, there was an ice storm. And so they weren't going to fly into New Orleans. So we said, we're going to drive because we need to be there. So we drove through the night. And I mean, there was some crazy stories. We had to go through a swamp, like through, and they were closing roads and everything else. And I remember the police had a barricade up, and I said, we need to get to New Orleans. He said, you ain't getting there tonight. And I was like, yeah, we need to get there. And he says, have you seen that show, Alligator Hunter or something? I'm like, no, I haven't. He goes, well, that's the only way. And so he took us to this place, and we had to drive through these small roads through the swamp to get to New Orleans. And we got there. And guess what? The folks from Atlanta, they never got there. They were back in Atlanta. So that's kind of a funny story. We did end up getting that deal, though, at the end of the day.